What's good? It's your boy Herb Tutter. Welcome back to the show, The Transition. Today I am talking about someone to complete you. Hollywood sells this in so many movies that it's not even funny. At this point where somebody comes into the picture and you had everything in a disarray and this person had all the answers and they completed your sentences and all of this other stuff. And 100%, it is definitely a great Hollywood story. It's a great movie. It's a great script and everything else. But my dad told me a very, very long time ago that if you're going to have a good relationship is like having a team. And if everybody can bring their part to the table and not look for somebody to bring their part and your part as well, then you will have a successful relationship. A lot of times we're looking for a something for nothing. We have a whole lot of baggage and we're expecting the other person to accept our baggage. And if we get just a little bit of the other person's baggage, then we're like, I don't think I'm supposed to be able to take all of that because I got my own stuff on my own plate. When, the reality is that you should be a complete person before you even start looking for that, special someone, that significant person. It's unfair for somebody to have to come into a relationship and have to fix anything that was toxic prior years before. We all know that sometimes, depending on how quick you get back into a relationship, that you may have to deal with some of the frustrations from the prior relationship. The reality is that it shouldn't be much of that either. We have to start making better decisions on getting in relationships, having children, and everything else. Is that if you don't have the person that you're in love with, because I've been on both sides of that, stick, period, to where it was, me that I really didn't know if this is what I wanted to do. And I've been in a relationship where I thought it was 100% the best thing. And you could tell that other person didn't. This isn't the moment that you decide to have children. This isn't the moment where you decide to lay all of your baggage on somebody else's lap and take a break. To have a successful relationship, friendship, or anything, partnership in business, you have to be willing to bring your part to the table. If you're not willing to bring your part to the table, then you need not to be in any type of relationship with anybody, because nobody should be completing you. You should already be a complete person. You should be bringing 100% of you to the table. Like I said, I know Hollywood has you believe, well, what you're going to do is bring 50% and that person's going to bring 50% and you guys are going to make 100. No, what you're supposed to be making is 200%, because it's supposed to be two people that are 100% put together, and now you just have to learn each other. When I or the other person that I've been in a relationship has to bring their 100% and 50 more percent to, I guess, complete a relationship, that's not going to last, because you're asking a person to bring 150% while you bring 50 and sometimes may only bring 25. I remember saying this in the group, Level Ground, many a times. You can give 25% in 5 different places, 20% in 5 different places, and it equals 100, but you really only gave 20% everywhere you went. So if you're not willing to give 100% to practice, 100% to promotions, 100% to what we're doing, then what are you doing? Anytime I've been on anybody's team, especially coming in as the last person, I'm asking, what do you need me to do? Not expecting that once I, get on the court or the field, you're expecting me to start running plays. And that's basically what we've been asking of, is that somebody needs to complete me When I salute my younger brothers now that are getting the therapy that's in on the south side of Chicago. It sometimes you have to take care of yourself, and sometimes you got to work yourself through some things. We were too tough and macho to actually get that help, and like I said, I was just talking to a few of the brothers, and we were saying the same thing: is that, man, we probably should have got that help as well, because a lot of things that happen on the south side of Chicago, a lot of people just can't understand it. I was looking at Willie D's show, and he was saying, man, some of the stuff that I've seen and some of the stuff that I've heard that some of the brothers do in Chicago, they get down. They bout that. He was like, and I couldn't imagine. And sometimes you need to be able to get that off your chest before you can go into another relationship, friendship, or anything else. Sometimes you got to take care of yourself, and that's the thing, is that Hollywood is selling the whole somebody completing you, when the reality is that you need to work on yourself to be 100% to go into a relationship, so you can give the other person 100%. Don't expect everybody to want to do 150% for you because of your looks, or because you believe they should, or you're using that person because you can tell that that person really, really likes you. So you're going to make sure that they give you 150%. If that's how you feel like you're going to go into a relationship where a person owes you something, then you really need to reevaluate yourself. And that's where a lot of stuff has been skipped in today's society, is that when it's time for us to work on ourselves, or somebody gives you a rebuttal on judgment that you gave, now we want to ghost, we want to change our number. We don't want to hear where we're supposed to be working. Nothing happens overnight. And to have a successful relationship, friendship, partnership, that's an everyday scenario. That is constant work. You're not going to get us something for nothing. And I know that that's what Hollywood sells as well, is that you're going to win the lottery and you're going to have millions of dollars, and you just realize you just keep, spending all your money on lottery tickets, and you're winning back what you already put in. There is no something for nothing. Sometimes, the lady luck happens, but the reality is that that's karma for a person that's been doing for a number of other people. My superhero is my dad, because my dad showed me on a number of occasions how selfless he could be by getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, getting on CTA, and that's Chicago Public Transit bus, train, to go downtown to work as a printer, to come back on train and bus, to change his uniform to McDonald's, and then go and work part-time there to keep a roof and food on the table. This is what I saw, and this is what I did for my kids that were older, my older kids, when we were staying together, and to be able to do that and be selfless like that means that you already have to be 100% of a person, because as dad, everybody is looking for you to pave the way, and that's nothing against moms, but when things crash, the person that's looked at is the man of the house. So understanding that, you have to be able to take the good with the bad. You got to be able to understand that everybody will share your victory, but nobody wants to be a part of the failure. So you gotta, be in the head of household, the person that steps up when it crashes, or like I said before, when people make that decision and they're not 100% of a person, and you get into a relationship and then you start putting kids on top of a weak foundation, when it breaks, because it will, dads are gonna be the bad guys, because you guys decided not to. And it's very few times that everybody realizes, you know what, I brought just as much toxic to the relationship as you, so let's just raise these kids and make sure that's Hollywood too, because most of the times, I want to say 8 out of 10, there's got to be a bad guy when it's a split, when it really doesn't have to be, because these kids today need both of their parents, and you don't have to be in a relationship to have both. And the dad doesn't have to be the bad guy, the mom doesn't have to be the good guy. Guess what? That's your mom, that's your dad. They both have a reason why they're in your life, and you don't need to pick or choose a side. Everybody is okay with you continuing to be a child, especially the boys. You do not have to be the little man of the house. Figure out how to be a boy. What's going on in your household is that mom and dad decided to split. Mom is the head of household. You are still a child. Same vice versa. If you're in your dad's house and he's a single parent, for the girls, you are not the woman of the house. You are a girl, and dad is the head of household. These are the things that are not explained because, again, we're looking for somebody to complete us even after we have a bad relationship and we were the reason why it was bad. We don't even want to accept that. So understanding that situation, I am 100% excited when I talk to millennials/Zs, and they're like, I'm not having no kids right now. That's good, because you don't need to pile kids on top of your toxic, or anybody that is toxic coming in your life. Figure yourselves out first before you decide to put children on top of it. That's why we have this quote unquote baby daddy drama, bad decision mama stuff going on, because we decided to start putting children on top of a weak foundation, and now we don't have anybody to blame because we were looking for that Hollywood script that somebody was going to complete me, so you were just going to bring 25% of yourself in there, and that other 75% you're looking for somebody else to actually pick it up. So you're looking for me to come in and give you 175% to this relationship, while you every once in a while give 25 if you feel it. Then once you have a child, I'm going to lose 5% of that as well, because you feel like, well, I've had children, you should respect me or be happy that I'm even in the picture because I just had a child for you. You didn't have a child for me, you had a child for us. But if I didn't want that, you had a child for yourself for selfish reasons. So again, a lot of times we need to figure out, what are we bringing to the table, and stop asking people to solidify us and therefore complete us, when let's work on self first before we get into something serious, because a relationship is like a team. You're going to have to put in so much work on a day-to-day basis. Relationships, friendships, partnerships, and business. This is a 7-day-a-week, 24-hour-a-day job. You have to work on this all the time, and nobody should be doing your part. You should be doing your own part, bringing it to the table. Therefore, when you bring your part to the table, I can bring my part to the table, and we have a successful relationship. I'm going to say this and continue to say this. Don't, at any given point in time, please don't look for somebody to complete you. If you need help, get the help you need to do the things that you're supposed to do, so you can be 100% for somebody else, and not look for somebody to give you 175%. You dig? It's your boy Herb, man. Listen, do something for somebody else. Trust me, to give you a chance to figure out where you're supposed to be. Holla at your boy. I got some more segments. Come on back to my show, The Transition.